Hey guys, I've been trying to get this video up for a long time, but there's just been too many things going on. And now we're days away from Samsung's Unpacked event. But honestly, it's probably for the best because there's been some new developments over the past 2 weeks, which I'll try to explain in this long-term review of the Galaxy Z Flip 5. First, I wanted to know what had changed since my initial honeymoon phase with this phone. So, I went back and watched my previous review of the Flip 5. And I'm almost proud to say that most of what I said still holds up today. The phone's design is elegant, and I actually take back what I said about the design looking a bit feminine. You know when there are watches that look really great with all kinds of watch bands, but in their own unique ways? Well, to me, this phone was kinda like that with cases. You could make this look like a rugged flip phone, or enjoy that bright and shiny blue for the summer. Either case, no pun intended, you got yourself a good looking phone. And the matching cover screen using the NFC chip inside Samsung's case was also a nice touch. But I do wish it applied to the main home screen as well. The hinge also retains that perfect stiffness that it had when the phone first came out of the box. I was worried that the hinge might get loose over time, but opening and closing the phone is still the satisfying feeling as it was 9 months ago. So, well done Samsung. Now, I did mention that it felt less dense when compared to a regular smartphone, and you might be able to see why. It's hard to see on camera, but the two halves of the phone do tend to wobble just slightly, and the same could be said for brand new phones as well. But I would guess that this has more to do with the structural nature of foldables than just Samsung. One thing I really have to give Samsung credit for though is durability. I know my case looks like it came straight from a construction site, but every time I drop it, the case basically flings off. Which is why I hope Samsung finds another way to attach the case instead of these weak double-sided tapes that make your phone all sticky. Ugh. But coming back, this phone can well handle the everyday abuse. Dropped on the subway, dropped it at the gym, the list goes on. And I can't speak for all foldables, but for Samsung at least, I think durability is something we can finally rest assured. It just seemed really durable this time. So yeah, air bubbles seeping into the screen protector, still very much a thing. The air gap is quite noticeable once it forms, which gets annoying pretty quickly. So I went to a Samsung service center for a replacement as soon as I could. In 2 weeks. And in less than 10 minutes, I was back in action. The price for replacing these screen protectors wasn't too expensive either, around $10 a piece. And Samsung apparently upgraded their screen protector with better adhesives, so you can finally close the device as soon as you get it without waiting until the screen protector eventually sticks. Moving on, speakers. I realized I forgot to mention this in my previous review, but the speakers were fairly okay. I mean, I'm no audiophile, but to me, the mids and the highs sounded clear. The bass seemed lacking though, and while not the loudest phone in the world, the sound at least didn't get distorted at max volume. So, this brings us to the main question. How was the long-term experience of using the Z Flip 5? Well, it's a Samsung flagship, meaning performance was fast and software reliable. But there's more. The tall aspect ratio allows the phone to show more information than usual, meaning it's great for viewing content like news and social media. And you can obviously close the phone for better portability. But the flipping mechanism that I loved so much at the beginning started to feel more like an extra step. But probably because opening it with one hand takes more force than I'd like, so I began to prefer using the cover screen. Except that it was limiting in two key areas. For one, it's frustrating that I still can't access the full quick settings menu to turn on mobile hotspot, a feature I use almost every day. Felt like that would be an easy and necessary software fix. Second, I really feel that the cover screen deserves an app drawer of its own. While it's great that you can select any app of your choice via Good Lock, with such a small screen, you want to minimize the clutter as much as possible. So I only pin the apps that I use regularly there. But there are those moments when you need to open the bank app every now and then, or make a quick purchase of the items in your shopping list from last night, forcing you to yet again open your phone. I now realize it doesn't even need to be a full-fledged home screen like Motorola. I'm actually enjoying Samsung's implementation of clean-looking widgets, but the number of third-party options available has been close to none, which even further demonstrates a reason to have that app drawer. I swear, adding this one feature would immediately make this cover screen UI 2.0. As for performance, the phone stayed fast and cool for my daily usage, which included YouTube, social media, and some casual gaming. But I could feel the phone's heat at the top section going up to an uncomfortable degree when using mobile hotspot. As for battery life, data showed I routinely used over 100%, which means it rarely lasted me a full day. So hopefully battery life is something we can see improved on the Flip 6. Surprisingly, battery health held up fairly well. Even after 10 months, the battery health was still at a healthy 98%. Samsung software doesn't allow you to check this like Apple does, but the Samsung engineer confirmed me this via their own PC software. Camera was also one of those areas that I felt was a bit lacking. The shots and colors look excellent for social media, and personally the color science seemed to have gone a bit more natural after a software update. But if you're even somewhat serious about smartphone photography, this phone isn't for you. The images look great at first, but it's pretty obvious that the software tends to oversharpen images to make up for the relatively low 12 megapixel resolution. And if you zoom in, you can definitely notice the lack in detail. Personally, I was happy with the Fold 4's camera, so really hope Samsung gives us some well-deserving hardware upgrades as well. Especially for a phone targeted at creating content. Now, I tried this for the sake of review, and it turned out to be better than expected. The camcorder mode may look like a gimmick, but it occasionally might be useful when you need to film a video with one hand. Of course, this would actually make more sense if the phone automatically started filming when held in this certain way. Also, with the wide-angled camera in such a small package, it really did help with vlogging. It almost felt like I was holding an action cam. In fact, while I would love a proper zoom camera on the Flip, I think my dream and fairly realistic camera setup would be a high-resolution main sensor that allows you to crop in for 2x zoom and an optically stabilized ultra-wide-angled lens with an action cam field of view. With some accessories and better battery life, I feel that this could really be a great action cam alternative and a standout feature for the Flip series. The Samsung is also well known for their software support, 4 years of major OS updates and 5 years of security patches. After having gone through Unihertz's basically non-existent software support, my mind is at ease with Samsung. So that's been my long-term review of the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5. Obviously, foldables haven't reached their peak form yet, air bubbles. And this form factor was a first for me, but I did enjoy using it. Camera and battery life was a letdown as someone expected, and personally, I think I'm too practical of a person to use a foldable. But for people that value character and extra pocketability, the Flip is a phone that will be adored.